Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of the Open Mic. That number just keeps growing, you know. I wonder if I'm going to be sat here when I'm saying like 108 or something, you know what I mean? I have to move on to the next season by then. But anyway, episode 24, VXP weekend. Everyone's sort of, there's a few topics to talk about tonight, and I'm sure we're gonna have an interesting show. And of course, the Open Mic is open to the TFC community. It's much like our live shows, but just that little bit more creamier. As you can tell.
No, this is so wrong.
I know, but anyway, you know, let's run with it. Literally. So, guys, how was your VXP weekend? Before I ramble too much, how was all of your VXP weekends?
Great.
Yeah, good for you, Jeff. I'll tell you what, I'll call you out name by name and maybe just ask how you found it and your experience on this raid. So, Jeff, you enjoyed the raid, the VXP.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
My raids are all skulled, so.
Good stuff. Well, I'll start from my far left and work my way towards myself on the far right. So, G Daddy, how was your VXP?
I actually thought it sucked, to be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I really did.
A lot of people said that. A lot of people. I think there was a lot of mixed opinions this time, wasn't there? A lot of people had. Before, I think the last couple of VXP weekends, they've kind of been popular all round, but this time everyone seems a bit annoyed about it.
I think it's because of the 61 and the 43 targets, really. They're too easy, and to go any higher, you can do it, and you can do it in instant repair, but it's just not a lot of points at all. And the hundreds are far, not a lot about at all.
The whole time, though.
There is a workaround. It's a bit late now because obviously the targets have obviously all stopped, the big ones now. But there was a workaround, which I can talk about in a minute.
Okay. Imre, is that pronounced right? Imre?
Yeah, that's right.
How was your VXP?
Well, I'm not done yet. I've got a little bit of dying left to do. I'm getting there.
Good stuff. I think that tends to be the fashionable way to do VXP now, isn't it? It's just kill yourself. You know, just go in there and suicide your fleet and get max VXP for it.
With one Havoc, one torpedo on each sub, there's nothing else I can do.
Okay, and let's Jeff. How was yours light? Is it light? Is that correct?
Oh, mine was good. I didn't have any problems at all. I hit the Reavers at first, but then I switched to the 80s. It seemed to be bullet paid out a lot more.
Okay, cool. Okay, TSM, enlighten us with your wisdom.
Yeah, evening all. Well, two things. I think it depends on what you want to rank, to be honest. For general ships that can fight back and can move, then I think you're better off in the 80s. So in the 80s, what I was doing was going in with obviously a soldier crew, and then basically because the targets themselves can obviously seem to only pull out a certain amount of VXP every time you enter. So what I was doing, and I did test this, went into the target, triggered the first two ships, killed the ships, exited, instant fix. Go back in, kill the next two ships, come back out again, instant fix. Which sounds like a really, really long-winded way of doing it, but actually you're not then chasing around the sea looking for lots of targets. And every time you enter, you're stacking VXP. And actually I managed to just stay in the same location and kill the two targets that were just sitting there at that one location. I docked and I got 71,000 VXP for killing two targets for instant fix. So that was to rank. I can't remember what it was to rank anyway, but I just triggered them with an Apollo. I did let the other ships die off in the target, I have to say, so they were still stacking points and that sort of stuff. And then I was just basically fixing what else was there. I can't remember what it was, to be honest, anyway. But that sort of worked. And in the end, I didn't have to actually let anything die. I just was going in there and just picking off the targets. So I was taking some ships through that way. Vanquishers, on the other hand, though, they're a bit different. Best to pick off the hundreds for that. And I was taking Vanquishers in with one sub and then lots of gunboats. And then basically sending the gunboats forward to trigger ships and letting the ships come towards the Vanquisher and then basically letting it kill them. And then when the bugs come along, I put one of the new subs in behind, and they were basically splatting, obviously with splash, and they were killing off a lot of the bugs as well. So they were stacking up as well, and I was getting, I think, about 65 to 70,000 just by literally sitting in the corner of the target and letting everything come to me, basically. So I've ranked, I think, about 10 ships today, in about 4 different locations, and I've just been rotating from one to the other, just popping and seeing how it's getting on. And I'm actually haven't had to maintain any of the 100 targets; they've been maintaining themselves. So that's the way I've done it, basically.
That's good. That's good. It sounds
It's a bit
like
lazy, but it's definitely worked.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No problem. Let's move along to J-Boy. How was your VXP weekend, or did you get involved in the VXP weekend, bud?
Yeah, I gave it a go, mate, and I've got to say I found it an utter joke. They've changed it all again just for more coining. That's the way I see it in my eyes. We had something going good. They changed it from one target to having the 1, 2, 3s a couple of months back, and now they see again that we're not spending enough, so they've made it. I'm sorry to say, but so you spend more money. I think it's utterly ridiculous. I absolutely hated it. It's too time consuming now.
That's the point. It's either money or seat time, just like the raid's been. And I had the seat time, but if you haven't got the time, it's money.
The thing is, I mean, a lot of us, me especially, I was just chucking my fleets in, killing them, clicking them on the map again, repairing them, and chucking them back in. Do that 2 or 3 times, you had a legend rank fleet. Yeah, it's coining, you know what I mean? So they're still getting money out of it, but it's quicker for us. Now you've got to have seat time as well as coining. It's just stupid. Especially when you're in a big alliance or in a world that's got a lot of active players, it's hard to find targets as well.
Yeah, I had to leave and go about 15 sectors down and find a dead sector, or a couple of dead sectors. That's what I couldn't find. No chance where I was. Our
I did a bit of travelling myself as well.
My last, 3 or 4 months of VXPs, I've been spending no more than 100 coins. And to do that, I can legend rank 2, maybe 3 fleets. This time I've done 100 coins, I've stopped, and my fleet's at 51%. And I said, fuck that, that's it. I shouldn't have to pay more to get what I was getting before for less.
Lucy, I think you just got some money in your swear jar.
I did tell you, mate, tonight that jar's going to
Just kidding, man. Just kidding.
Yeah, hang on, can I quickly clear that up quickly? Just quickly, I won't take much time with this. Right, under no circumstances has Liam, Lucy, anyone asked me not to swear.
No, it's a joke.
It's just an ongoing joke, yeah.
I try not swearing too much because I do understand that kids watch this as well. Like my kids watch like things like this, so I try not swearing too much, so them kids don't pick up on that sort of stuff. It's nothing to do with the show asking me not to. So fuck you.
Yeah. No, I certainly would never ever dream of asking anyone not to swear.
Or to swear.
Or to swear. I mean, fuck that shit. You know?
I'm pretty sure if I posted that inbox you sent me last night, Liam, you said I'm being too polite.
Well, no, I mean, J-Boy, your mannerism towards the game is exactly why I invited you on the show, and I certainly wouldn't want to put a cage on that by any means. Okay, let's move on to Paul. How was your VXP, buddy?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah?
Yeah, no problems really. People can say VXP's a bit low, but it's still easier. I'll be doing the unidentified fleet, save killing the ships off. I don't agree in killing stuff off that are like nearly full builds. That's the only thing I don't like doing. Ships that should survive in a target, and I run a few tests with another guy who I know quite well. And for killing 100, I was picking up 700 VXP more than him from him just going in and suiciding. That's the only thing. You should get a bit more if you actually kill the target, I think. But hey-o, if that's all you got to moan about in BP, eh?
Well, there's more. There's more.
There's more. We'll get there. We've got an hour. Okay, what's how? Is that correct?
What the hell?
All I had to rank really was my subs and a couple of retributions. The retributions are a pain in the butt to rank. The Hellwraith, the new one, I took my 4 out, 5 hits on a 10 or a 80 with the triple salty, and they were good to go. Retribution still aren't ranked. No, I did 5 hits on it.
Oh,
it took
5,
me to,
right.
to get them skulled.
Okay, awkward silence. Okay, well, I thought the VXP weekend, you know, I don't know. I'm going to ask you guys really after in a minute. So I'm going to ask you how you feel that the VXP weekend was different to previous VXP weekends, and why maybe the community was a little bit disgruntled about the changes. I mean, what was mainly different this time round to last time round?
Well,
No?
clearly no 1, 2, 3s. That's the difference. You know, did I mention on Tuesday when I said about the show, and I said I wasn't quite sure what was coming out on the targets and that sort of stuff, and a lot of people went, no, the 1, 2, 3 is going to be, we're going to have Reavers, and then it's all of a sudden it's actually the preview server hundreds. You know.
Yes. Do you know? Right. Here's my hunch on that. Do you know what we said? Oh, maybe he's just forgot to type in 1, 2, 3 before that word. Maybe
Right.
he didn't forget. Maybe he just didn't type it in because they
On
weren't
purpose.
sure. Yeah, yeah. It was like either they weren't sure what they were going to put in, or
Not I'm a skeptic or anything, but you know, cleverly crafted sentence.
yeah,
And
it's
non-committal.
it's a
Non-committal
typo.
sentence.
Typo. Yeah.
Did you guys find that the 61 and the 43s though, they were like the raid targets, weren't they? What we could do with one Apollo.
Yes, yeah, pointless.
See, for me, like, I didn't really notice a difference in this VXP weekend to last VXP weekend. And the reason for that is because I found I was getting more points out of 80s. So although I started off in the hundreds, I just switched to the 80s. And
What did you do? Playing with your eyes closed or something?
well, maybe. I had limited time. I had like an hour. So I just loaded up a bit of coin and just went out there and smashed up my fleets. Just
Yeah,
let
but
them die.
that's the thing. You think of the previous VXPs, right? You didn't even need half an hour to get skull rank fleets. You chuck them in a 1, 2, 3, come out 3 times, take you back to your base, and boom, they're done.
Do you know
Now
what,
in the hundreds,
and
I've done it 4 times to get them 51%. That's a joke.
even a couple of guys I was speaking to in the sector I'm in, you know, even on the 1, 2, 3s, and they don't coin that sort of stuff, they were just quite happy to go and actually just send their fleets in, let them die, and they said, oh, we'll fix them over the next couple of weeks in slow time, one at a time. But at least they were getting almost, you know, they were getting like 55% ranked and that sort of stuff just by letting them die once and that sort of stuff, you know.
Well, yeah, I was doing the same with old ships and flagships that you don't really get round to ranking and that. I was always chucking them in a 1, 2, 3 every raid just to help build up a little bit of rank at the end.
I was just going to say that, J-Boy, actually.
Yeah, it's pointless doing it now.
For the last two VXP weekends, I've smashed every single ship that I own, and including the Wolves until they were legendary ranked.
Anything, yeah.
Right.
That's an awesome accent, G-Daddy. Love that. Is that it's obviously a Mank accent. No! You sound Mank.
Leeds.
Really? It's
Oh,
a good
right,
accent. Good sex. Okay. Let's move on to what is next, TSM?
Right, well, so basically what I was going to do is I'll quickly share a screen I've got here, if you can just lock it on. So basically what happened was J-Boy put up on the TFC page, he put up basically, can you see that? Basically what he did was basically put a question up on the TFC page, basically saying, come on then, how are you feeling? So there's 3 questions, okay? And, basically, as you can see there, I don't know how well you can read that. Has it come up fairly clear? But hopefully it basically says there, looking for feedback and 3 simple questions. Do you think all these changes are getting a bit bullshit, and actually what we want to do is to stop it and just go back to some simplicity, you know? Or are you generally thinking that some of the things are quite decent? Some of it's a little bit over the top, but I'm managing, I'm coping, you know. Or actually things are really good and I'm enjoying the changes. The numbers there are quite straightforward. For people that think it's bullshit, you know, it's 431, okay? So that's nearly 10% of our community, okay, of saying that, okay? For some that think it's not too bad, that's 60, okay? So that's nearly 1%, okay? Or just over 1%, sorry. And then basically, people that think it's fantastic, are clearly whales that think that, you know, or they just don't know what it used to be like and that sort of stuff, because there's only 4 people that said that. So there's an indication. I know most people, if they're going to voice something, generally voice something because they're not happy with something. But there is an option there to say, I am happy. And of the people that are saying they're happy, there aren't many.
And the way that that's been worded is kind of good, because it's made people come on and speak their minds about how they feel about the game at the moment. And for anyone that hasn't commented on J-Boy's post here, make sure you do, because I'm gonna get all this information together and send it to Kickside and make sure that they read it. So if you speak on this post, it will be heard.
Yeah. Liam, I don't know what's the matter, mate. Your mic's a bit dodgy at the moment, mate. It's cutting in and cutting out. So I don't even,
I would like to say to J-Boy that I appreciate that post, and I think we ought to do a lot more of that and hear what the people have to say, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad that people actually appreciate it, mate. I mean, I know over the years a lot of people thought I was all for Kickstarter. For a little while, mate, I really favoured some of the changes I was doing. I actually liked some of them. But now I've just got to the point that I'm sick to death of it, and I'm sick to death with them with how they keep screwing us over and changing everything. And you know, it's about time someone stepped up and said, "Look, I'm going to make my point across."
I mean, I agree. I mean, well, we're just getting Liam to sort his mic out there. Is you know, for me, and I was talking to J-Boy earlier about this. I've got two trains of thought. Okay, so my train of thought is, first of all, Battle Pirates. Okay, the game is what I like. Okay, it doesn't automatically mean I like the company. Okay, and everything I try and post, if people have noticed, everything I try and post on our page is an aid to either save you money, save you time, or prevent you from doing something because I've made the mistake and hopefully you won't need to. That's the way I try to do it. I don't rant. I never rant. That's just my background and my own personal life. That's just not the way I deliver myself. Okay, but what I won't do is sit by knowing that something can be done better or differently, or let somebody make a mistake and just simply let them sit by and let them make an idiot of themselves. You know, when I know I just can't do that. It's just not the sort of person I am. So from my perspective, why I think it's great having Jay on here, because he is quite happy to go forward and go, no, actually that's a pile of shite. I'm not happy with that. I'm quite happy to pick up the individuals that go, do you know what? Give us a point here because I'm a bit lost here. So now we're getting a bit of a diverse, community and that sort of stuff, and that's what we're looking for. But a bit of steerage from Liam as well, and he can feed stuff into Kixie and that sort of stuff. You know, bit of information there, obviously from Ren. He does some good topics and does some good 101s and that sort of stuff. You know, and then Andrew. Now we've got Brian as well, working on the obviously the Facebook page and also our own website as well. So it's quite holistic, the whole thing now, and it's working. I hope it's working. You know,
I feel that we've. Is my mic okay now, guys?
No, you're terrible.
It's still bad, mate. It's really bad, in fact.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave the event and come back in.
Okay, buddy. So yeah, my point that I was just trying to make was basically, whilst we're very pro BP, okay, we have to try and remain positive, but without sounding like we're kissing ass, because that's one thing I don't do. I ain't going to kiss ass to anybody. But if I do put information across, okay, I want to make sure it's positive towards a good, entertaining game. So if they've made a change, well, one person can rant. I want to try and dig out the logic in it. If I can find out what the logic is, and then try and take it forward, and then see if I can overcome what they've done. That's my plan.
I think my biggest complaint right now with the game, and I had a long conversation with some of my alliance members, is I remember logging onto the game and smashing bases, having a good time, and the game has gotten to a point now where it's so inhibitive to go and I still go smash bases. I don't care if I die or not. But
Jay, what did I say to you earlier on, mate? I said it's a job. It's a second job. There's that many tasks now.
There's no time to do it.
That's better, mate.
I had a rumour over a year ago that Kickstarter was going to try plan in a way to obviously eliminate as much base hitting as they can, because there's, sorry to say this to any of the community who don't like it, there's a lot of Care Bears who hate being hit and cry a lot. So they was trying to make it more of a chory, active kind of game. The thing is, you wipe out us base hitters, and there ain't much of a game left.
Well, there's a large part of revenue comes from base hitters. They tend to be the end game players that punt the coin into the game, which keeps the lights on in Kickstarter's office.
That's the best friends I've made in the game, is the people who I smash their bases. Hell, they smash me back. I don't want friends in the game that I'm going to farm for.
Half the guys in my alliance are guys that I used to be when I used to be in the 200s, that used to be in opposite sectors, two or three left or right, and we used to fight each other, and ended up and actually, we'd have a laugh about it and that sort of stuff, because it doesn't need to get stupid and personal, and end up, 2 years, 3 years down the line now, we're in the same alliance and that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Well, we've been on a PvE increase for years. It's gradually risen and risen and risen. I would say in the last couple of years in particular this year, with the introduction of the Foundry. When the Foundry first came out, I didn't realise that we were going to have to hit targets for every single class section in there. You know, I mean, basically every time a new section of the Foundry comes out, a new world map target comes out with it, and that's just taken the chore list through the roof.
I was literally just talking myself actually about an hour ago before we started the show to Richie King. Actually, those that know him, he's been in since day dot. Basically, he's the one that got me into the game many years ago in Blackwater days. You know, and I said to him on there, why can't you just have a target? And it's either going to be in your campaign or just a target on the sea that you go and hit. And depending on the level of the target, there's just a drop-down menu and go, right, what do you want? Do you want a Foundry piece? Do you want this? Or do you want that? Rather than having 100 targets out there. And all of a sudden, all he's doing is creating game lag.
I know. I mean, if the Foundry keeps going, we're going to struggle to see any seawater on the map, you know?
Mm. I think it made it something that could be simple into something really complex. And all it's doing is lagging the crap out of people's games. I know Ren's struggling. I know he is. Because he's on a laptop, you know.
It's the difference of fleets required as well. Like, before, I'd have 10 base hitters, 4 prep fleets, a base guard, and then a couple of fleets I'd used to do the raid with. But normally I'd double up with my base hitting fleets to do the raid with them. And now you've got to have a fleet for mines, a fleet for dubs, a fleet for this, a fleet for that. And by the time you get through, I think I've got 9 different fleets each to do a different PvE target. I mean, that's just incredible. That's insane.
Okay. I won't jump into all that. Do you know what I mean? The main targets I have in the eyes is people's bases, Forsaken Mission, people's bases, and that's it. I know I've repeated myself. I did it deliberately. But no, all that other stuff don't bother me, mate. The Foundry, the retro lab I get with like my Punishers or whatever. So all this new crap they keep bringing out, I'm not interested in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think at the moment when it's tier 1 to 4, there's kind of holes in there that are relevant to most endgame players, but it's not always going to be that way. And eventually there's going to be like tier 6 and tier 7, and there's going to be harder targets on the map that, you know, and then it's going to start becoming more relevant to us, I think. Right now, I think it's more of like a catch-up kind of get your older fleets together for lower level, mid-levels, but it's not always going to be that way.
Do you remember when they brought that mission out at the beginning? They said it's for lower players to help catch up with the speed of the game.
Apparently so.
That soon lasted, didn't it?
Mm.
Same as they said tier 4 before they brought out the elite tier or whatever it is. That was going to be for only certain things, and then that built up to a must-have every week. Then they brought in the tier 5, and that was supposed to be only for things like shards and a couple of other bits and pieces. Now it's a must for every player every week.
I was just about to say, and this was actually something I did want to bring up tonight as well, what you basically just said there. I mean,
yeah, I was going to bring it up, so with great minds think alike.
With the Forsaken missions, like, when they brought out the Forsaken missions with tier 5, they said to us, and I can even go and get the forum post now, you know, they said to us specifically that tier 5 was just going to be for elite stuff. Yep. You know, like they were going to put some holes in there, possibly some shards in there. Why is it this month in this cycle, there's 4 new items in there in tier 5 that most people, in fact, a large percentage of the community still can't get to tier 5.
They have to add 4 new prizes every raid, because otherwise, what are they going to end up with?
But the Mimica should be in tier 4, right?
No, what I'm saying is they don't want everybody getting ship build tokens every week. That's why they introduced 4 prizes every raid. So then you're only going to get ship build tokens, what, 1 week, 2 weeks? That's stupid, mate. They've conned it on, haven't they?
I just don't like the idea now that all the new tech is going straight into tier 5 when they promised us it wouldn't. And it just puts people like, and Lucy is my example here, because she can't get to tier 5 at the moment, and she hasn't been able to for a long time. And now that they're putting all the tech in there, she's basically excluded from having her fleets correct for the game.
I've always said tier 5's not a joke, mate. I don't agree with it, full stop. Especially when they up the price from 150 to 350. It's just everything to screw you over to make you try and spend more. That's all it is.
Can I jump in there, guys, for a non-kind of point of view?
Just 2 seconds. Hi, Brian. Evie, mate, you're on. I just want to say Monster's in the chat online. Okay, just stay. He's coming to say hi.
Monster. How's it going, Monster? Good to see you, buddy. And Brian, better late than never.
I mean, and there's a classic example before we go on, okay? Monster's left the game because he's totally pissed off, and there's nothing else apart from the fact that he's pissed off all the changes. And there's a man, okay, that can fucking play.
Yeah, and also a filthy coiner.
But he's gone. A level 127 has left the game. And not only that, Monster's a very wise player. I mean, he's been with me for a few years.
on and off, but you know he's been around and been in my alliances and been in the show, and he's a very, very wise player, very knowledgeable about the game.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. He even come over to Gimps for a little while, didn't he? And I'll tell you what, me and him thought very much a lot, and I even told him, at times it felt like talking to myself, the way we'd plan stuff out and things like that. I was even gutted, even though he went back over to you guys before he quit, I was gutted to hear when he was quitting the game.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm gutted to see him gone.
Gutted too. You know, his reasonings are valid, and it's hard to argue with him.
I've told him, mate. I mean, we was talking about it at the same time. I'm just as close to quitting. He's just jumped there a few weeks or so before me, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Should we do a memorial?
No.
Yeah, we'll do a memorial. We'll do a memorial. Where's your base?
I would love to hear from this non-coiner who's just about to comment about the mission, mate.
Yeah, go on, G-Daddy. Sorry, go on.
Make a ship memorial, perchance?
I was just going to say that because in Raid they had Judgment Mortar at 5.5 million, are they going to now drop that into tier 4 or even tier 3? Because that's only worth 7 million.
Good point.
That's what I want to know.
Well, they did that before with a couple of things that were in the Raid that were really cheap, and all of a sudden they stuck them in tier 5 a month later, you know, because there was nothing else to go in tier 5, and as J-Boy's already said, you know, they clearly don't want to have too many tokens.
Well, I feel that the price structure needs looked at the moment. I mean, of course, Kicks, I don't want to give us away too many tokens, but that shouldn't warrant and hold them, you know, to having to force out so many items a month and put them in so many different, like, tier 4, tier 5. I mean, that's bullshit. Just take away the tokens and allow the lower level players to get them in tier 4, get the prizes. I'd rather sacrifice my own chip tokens so players like Lucy could catch up in tier 4 any day of the week. So I don't like the idea of them having to put so much in per month just so people don't get tokens and get one up on them. I think that's a terrible way to think and look at it.
And the thing is too, one of the things that they could do, I think, is at the end there's the fallback prize and then there's your tokens. Well, if they run a check or two every month that say, how many times have you gotten this prize? 0, okay, you can get it. 1, okay, you can get it. 2, you can't get it anymore, or something like that. Mm-hmm. Because I see all, like, the Mimicus system, I think it should be in tier 4, and I think that they should kind of downshift some of the things, because the Judgment Mortar and the ES4, like, those were last raid things, and putting them so high in tier 5, like, the people that couldn't get them in the raid, they still can't get them. Like, there's no way for a player really to progress to the point where they're able to break through up to tier 5 and do it well, which sounds a little strange to say, but there's no way for them to get there, because the gap is so big and the difficulty in targets, the jump is so big. There's not a middle ground, and they changed that greatly when they took away when they made it 350 and they stopped making the option to grind with the 87s, was it? The next target below? Mm-hmm. They said you could do like 15 of those and you could get there to 150, and once they changed that, it just stopped.
Well, I think you know, from what we're saying here, and I think it's sort of quite obvious that the price structure does need looked at, and perhaps this is something, you know, Kickside can think about if they're watching the show, and maybe it's something we can put forward to them.
It's one thing, I'll be honest, is in the after show when Raikkonen was on for that show, he even said he was unhappy with the price structure in the system.
Right.
You know, he did when he stayed on. I need to shoot off, mate. But he said, you know, he wasn't even pleased with the way the price structure is now stacking. Mm-hmm. You know, and that sort of stuff. You know, it needs looking at.
Okay. Well, I will make sure to make a point of this and put it forward to Kicks the next time I get a chance to drop a PM their way. But guys, while we're on the subject of Forsaken missions, I believe there is also something else in the Forsaken missions that we can talk about this week, and that would be the 107s and the 109s. So yeah. I think we've all got quite a lot to say about this.
Here we go.
How is everyone finding them? How are you
I'll tell you what, let's talk to people that don't coin first. I know it's going back to obviously people that have just spoken, but it'd be quite good to ramp it up, sort of stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. So, G-Daddy, do you want to start off, mate?
Yeah, you can do. I just find that 50 million, even for me, is easy to get, but takes, pardon me mentioning my stream, but I have to do a 15-hour stream to get that amount of points. And that's sometimes only up to 28 million because I was in 47s. Now this week I've been on 60s, and I can do 5 single punishers on 60s, getting 420,000 per target. So I do that 5 times, but just as I started my missions and got into tier 3, I got my pace smashed, and then my punisher smashed outside, so it just stopped my stream basically after about 3 hours.
Wow. Okay. And anyone else want to talk about the 109s and see how they feel about it?
You knew it was going to come on sooner or later.
Go on, Jay. Go on.
Nah, do you know what? I ain't too bad about it. I was pissed off when they first brought them out and I tried them. I think, to be fair, they should leave the 107s and 109s. I don't want to say too much because I'm hoping they don't change it if things get posted and they realise. But I think people with nobody blame me if they change this. I've seen people doing it with DNXs, Vendettas, any kind of mortar fleet with a Punisher flagship or like a lead boat. So anyone who's got that sort of fleet is good to hit the 109s.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I fed that back in, mate, already, to be honest. I said exactly the same thing when I put a PM back into Reich, and I went, do you know what, this is actually quite decent that you put 109s in there and you've got a different option of different type of fleet, because now DNXs, Novas, all those retargeting ships that have gone to Foundry for the lower levels to do their bits and bobs, if they are Foundrying them, have now got a reason to do that because this target is now a capable target for them. The Punisher's been available for some time.
That's the thing, and that's what I'm saying. As long as they leave the 107s and leave them how they are,
yeah.
People who ain't got a mortar fleet, they've still got Punishers and they can still hit the 107s.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be a fast mortar fleet either.
For me, it's more beneficial in 107s because I can do the whole 700 million with one fleet. But I've not really got many mortar-based fleets, so. So I mean, there's some people on there who's mortar fleets but not Punishers built. Per se, that can do the 109s. So it's kind of nice as long as they leave them both how they are and leave them alone. It's kind of more fair to the game. The other day I was really angry about it, but now I've kind of loosened up a little bit.
Well, I think when they first came out, I was totally ticked off about the 109s. Now that I've seen them hit, of course we figure it out within 48 hours.
Yeah.
My problem with them is the damn spawn rates. They're just ridiculous.
So
you can't find what you need.
Yeah. So quickly, I've worked on that direct. I've sent some PMs, and I don't know if you saw that sort of quick flow chart that I put up. Basically, as it was working, and they've just the spawn rate, but it's a bit like stacking airplanes at Heathrow Terminal when the fog's coming in. It takes a long time to sort it out.
And they still only on the tester at the moment anyway.
So technically they're on a test, but what they were doing if you were hitting a 107 because you didn't like 109s, then there was a 50-50 chance of that being a 107 again once it was dead, or it was becoming a 109. Yeah. So if it became a 107 and then the next time it became a 109 you left it behind, then that's one less 107 in that sector.
Kind of the monitor it, wasn't it, to see what one of the two is more actively hit.
What it really needed was a refresh and to reset the whole lot to get the statistics back again. But as they've done, what they did was drop it. Then was a 2-to-1 ratio. So it was going to be 2 chances of it to drop to be a 107 and a 1 chance of it dropping to be a 109. But if it had already become a 109 and people were ignoring them, then there was never going to be turned back into a 107. Now people are getting a bit more used to 109s. I noticed when I logged on earlier on, I saw a few 107s sitting on the map and they hadn't actually been touched. So I did see about 6 in my local area. That's
what the frustration was, I think. It wasn't an option when they first come out. There was probably 2, wasn't there, in our sector?
Yeah.
There was 107s. I think that's what kicked me off, because I was going to try the 109s anyway, but I didn't have a fallback option once I tried the 109.
Is, the 107 was the top-end target, so it ported from the top-end bases, and so did the 109. So that little bit of maths could have been done, and as I think it was, I can't remember, I don't know who it was. So somebody said basically it'd be much more sense if they drop the 107s and have them spawn from up to the level 100s, and then everybody that was above 100 could just spawn the 109s, and then it would have made a bit more sense.
They've got to build another fleet to do the sacred mission now. I don't agree with that. Everybody should have at least DNXs or Punishers. I mean,
See,
Agreed. Yeah.
DNX is nearly as old as the game itself. Punishers are a very old shit. Do you know what I mean? So you should have at least one of them two to play with. If not,
Punisher's not so much.
well, I built Citadels when the first raid they came out in. I mean, that raid cycle where Citadels were the best fleet to use in that raid. I built them that first raid, and they served me through that entire raid cycle, or the next 3 raids after that, and then they became Forsaken missions, and I was using Citadels at 103s, and now I'm doing 109s for like 3 coins. I mean,
I've only ever built one Citadel, and that's for my base, so I can't comment.
So just to confirm then, if you can get a good tank, okay, and that's got good, obviously, you know, penetrative deflection and that sort of stuff, and defense, then it doesn't matter what you drag its ass behind, whether it's going to be a DNX, whether it's going to be a Nova Storm, whether it's going to be a Citadel, whether it's going to be a Vendetta. So you're not going to take any damage. I just did 2, and I put a video up on our page. I didn't get a single piece of damage, and my fleet speed is only 24. Fleet speed is 24. I did it on purpose because it's a drag-ass, slow-ass fleet, and because the gap was reasonable, I didn't get any damage at all on the fleet that I was dragging behind. So it doesn't matter what the bloody ship is. It doesn't matter the DNX.
Sorry, Mark.
you could run them armorless as well.
I've got DNXs, but they've only got Shockwave L's on. I mean, I haven't refit them for time. I've had Pandemonium mortars and Chaos mortars, but I'm waiting for the Judgment mortar.
There's Pandos on mine, mate. Mine's Pandos.
There's one more thing, guys. Since now there are no arc missiles in the 109s, it is possible to help each other out. Grab a super good tank, park it next to that big island, let your squad player go behind you and just kill it from behind you.
A bit like a raid type thing. Yeah, you go in and act as the full guy. Yeah.
It's 25 million points for them, so 2 of these and they got Tier 4 done.
Yeah, that's a good, fair point actually. I mean, well done. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm going to ask
Going back to the spawn rate, I think it probably not 50-50 anyway, because I saw 7 109s across my screen in a row. When was the last time you ever saw 7 107s before?
Yeah, but that's the point.
They're spawning with the 107s, and they're also spawning on their own.
Yeah, they are, but a very second that, you know, anybody hits a 107, all of a sudden it turns to a 109, they're going to ignore it and walk away, or they were going to ignore it and walk away, which means the ever-decreasing circle thing happens, and it gets less and less 107s, and then people just think the spawn rate's been turned down, and that isn't it. It's just the mechanic of people wanting to pick a certain type of target and not pick the other one. And that's why I say that's that stacking mechanism that, you know, whilst they've adjusted the spawn rate to be a 2-to-1 ratio, you're still stuck in the ever-decreasing circles. What ideally would have happened was a reset should have happened at a certain time, and then there should have been twice as many 107s out there to 109s, or had the 109 spawn from 100 plus level bases only. So because it is just a test.
Quickly, I've asked my guy in my Alliance Cats who did it with DNXs because a couple were doubting it. When I get it, if it's still on YouTube at the time, I'll post the link there. If not, I'll post it on the Forsaken Council page afterwards.
That'd be brilliant, mate. Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm pretty sure he still only had siege mortars or shocks. I know he never refitted it to pandas, I mean.
Really?
Or I think that anyway.
I did take out a corner on a 109 with my DNX just to try him.
Just to try it? Did you, Paul?
Yeah, I took a corner out.
Well, if he's got that, Jay, what we'll do is we'll also, if he's happy with that, well, I'll get Andrew to stick it on the Facebook, on the actual website as well. So there's a lot of people go there for information. If we can put that under the DNX build as well, if the 109s are staying, we don't know that yet. Bear in mind, so don't go spending lots of money on new fleets.
Well, here, that's another thing. I mean, do we want them to stay? Is that do we need to give Kixo that feedback?
I'd like the 109s to stay as long as they keep the 107s as well. If they've got to get rid of either one or the other, then I think that's total bullshit, and they should get rid of the 109s.
I don't think we need 102s. I think this is fine. Don't add another target in. We don't need it.
Yeah,
I think leave it as it is.
107, perfect.
Yeah. If you're going to get rid of it, get rid of the 87. Yeah, and just sort the spawn rate. Yeah. So I think they just need to adjust which bases spawn which target. That's all. Which I'm sure they can do. That's a basic mechanic, isn't it? They can.
You know what's been happening in my sector, which is really a bit annoying, like, is the people that just kill like the sides and stuff. That's still going on in the 109, so it's absolutely doing my head. Now I don't know if that's because people are just trying them and dying, but if so, then everyone around my base sucks ass. because.
Well, to be honest, that's not the end of the world, is it? And to be honest, you've got to do 3 and a bit anyway. To get
but
the
there's
350.
like 9 the 9 109s that I went into around my base all had like a turret and a ship left. You know, it's just stupid stuff like that. And
That's
it's just,
annoying. Yeah.
I would like it if there was if they could introduce something that would eventually make like when people do that or leave bases like that, they eventually despawn.
Well, the only thing that they can do with it though is they're either going to do 100% where if you leave the target, it's going to respawn completely, or which would be fine too, actually, if you're just if you need it for that.
Can we put like a timer on it? The second the player engages the base, an hour timer starts.
A bit like the old res counters, where they just pop and then restart again.
Would solve a lot of headaches for me anyway. It
went down from 4 hours down to an hour now, and now all the res that's been opened is just sitting there not collected. It all pops in an hour, and a new one pops up again. That'd be quite handy.
I don't know. I just finish them off and wait for a new one to spawn. It doesn't really bother me.
But it could spawn as 107 at the moment. Should, in fact, if a 2-to-1 ratio is the answer. I don't know. I haven't actually seen.
But
so we're generally giving the 109s and 107s a thumbs up, guys.
107s are no problem whatsoever.
There's no change as far as I can see from the 107s from general.
106s is just a different drive, isn't it?
Right, just so you know, the video's just been posted on the Forsaken Council page now.
Okay. Cheers, anyway.
Okay, well, we've got 16 minutes left, so what else have we got?
I'm just trying to think, what else has happened this week? So much content.
I get to say, Kick's eyes slowed down, stop adding all crap, especially when it's out of date, a month old, and we don't need it. Otherwise, we're going to have to slap you with a wet fish. How's that?
I got friends who did enjoy that.
A smelly wet fish at that.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
you think we're going to need you soon?
So who's interested in obviously the mega ship stuff? Who's built their Hyperion yet? How many people have?
I've got a few days left on mine.
I think a few of my games have got them already.
Because it's about time. I'm talking about more content, but it is a different part of the game. I get that, but they could do with some information now, couldn't they? Because all they've got basically is a big FF sitting there doing nothing.
Basically, I've got about 5 days left on mine.
Yeah, I don't know why they released the content and then said, and they must have just released it and thought, you know what, it's going to take us 3 months to get this done, so let's just make it a 3-month build. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they should have just, I would have thought that they'd have been a bit more organised with this, you know?
So, yeah, I just wondering, because I know it's Riken's baby, isn't it? The Hyperion, or sorry, the mega holes, because there's going to be more than just a Hyperion, but the mega holes are his baby, and it's his area of the game that he's working on. So I know he's got lots of great plans, because he gets proper excited every time I talk to him.
There is plans.
We ought to see something pretty soon, because a lot of people are sitting around with big ships sitting there doing jack shit at the moment.
Have we got any confirmation? Because I've been hitting the 91s and it's been saying I've been collecting the titanium resource. And
is your Hyperion built?
No, but they're saying
no,
that
you can't stack. You can't stack.
Yeah, is that confirmed? Is it? Because Kixie said for the first 24 hours.
No, they said basically what could happen. You could bank what you'd gained, but because you should be banking several thousand, but they were going to turn it back off. That was a mistake. They turned it off, and until your Hyperion's built, you can't bank anymore. So
when it's built, I expect to have a 0 there, yeah?
You expect to, if you had anything in that 24 hours when they let you bank it, you'll get that. In fact, it should be sitting in your thing now in your bank already, but then basically the rest of it, just don't hit any 91s, mate, there's no point.
Yeah, but you can't see it until your Hyperion's built, can you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's no point in you hitting a 91 now, because you're not getting nothing.
Well, you know where we hang, and there's a few of us.
You can prep some, of course you can, for other people if you want to, but you know.
No, what I'm saying is, you know where we are. Some of ours are coming out soon, so.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, if that's the situation.
Yeah. So, and yeah, there's not a lot of information out about the megas at the moment. Can we have a scrap button just in case?
Scrap button. If somebody else asks about that, actually, how do I delete my Hyperion? You don't. You just let it die and just sit there. But I do know that other things in the game may be linked to the Hyperion ship and that sort of stuff. There's lots of ideas and that sort of stuff coming out.
Going back to what Liam said though about exploding stuff, don't you think the most annoying thing is like travelling 2 or 3 minutes to a target and then it blows up just as you get to it?
Well, that's also something I was just talking to early on as well. You know, my gut feeling is, you know, we've got that nice little button that's basically our campaign button. Why can't you just go into that, click on something, and say, I want to do, a garrison target, and you hit it, and the drop-down menu at the end of it says, now, what do you want for hitting that garrison target? Would you like a Foundry piece? Would you like a XYZ, or would you like something else? There's not crap all over the map. It's not causing lag. And you're just doing your own business and minding your own business and getting, you know, I don't think having lots of pretty pictures over the map is helping the game at all. It's just creating things stacking. How many times have you seen around the dubs things stacking on top of each other and you can't actually hit the damn things?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. A lot of the targets that are showing up, you can't hit them because you've got to hit something on top of it.
Yeah, I saw a 75 sitting on top of a 90 bloody base part, and then under that was a 50 flipping Reaver target and that stuff, all stacked on top of each other because they've been spawning that stuff. And you know, in fact, one of the 80s as well for obviously getting your VXP was also there as well. You know, 4 things stacked on top of each other, whereas some of those items could have just been sat either in a drop-down menu as part of your campaign list, and you can then quite happily doing your own business. And then having the option then to pick the part what you want.
I think they ought to do that with the targets that you want to hit as far as your Forsaken mission. Also, you can pick the size target you want to hit.
Yeah, there's another option as well. I just think it needs a bit of a remodel. We're getting so much content now. It's getting clogged.
What do you mean now? We've been getting too much content for far too long.
But it's getting really bad now, mate. And now more stuff's coming out. There's going to be more R&D to do for the Hyperion and that sort of stuff, or for the mega ships. There's going to be more things out in the sea. You know, it needs to rethink on how that's delivered, because whilst you might only want to do one part of it, like you've said, you don't touch Foundry because it's just not your thing and not your bag. And I get it, it's because of ships that are supposed to be coming up. You know, it still means all that clag is out on the sea, and that clag, you know, it almost makes you want to go and use bleaking the Spybot program and get it all gone off the sea, so you haven't got so much lag. The ad blocker thing, yeah.
Can I just confirm something as well? You know, in the Foundry itself, right, when you get a brand new hull that you don't have, and it crafts it, should it craft it at R1? I thought it was supposed to craft it at R10 or R11.
When I asked this question, anything that was in the retro lab is automatically absorbed and assumed into the relevant retro from the Foundry. So if you've got stats that are in the retrofit lab that are already in the Foundry, that will already be gifted to you as well. So although the number may not make sense, the actual statistic gain is actually going to be included. So you don't need to go and do it in the retrofit lab and then go and do it in the Foundry. There's no requirement to do that. You can just do it in the Foundry itself.
Actually, it's a lot quicker if you've got the inclination to do the.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my Night Hawks to R4 were a nightmare. That was like over a month retro, I think. It was like 7 days. Really? Well, when the Night Hawks first come out, I think the first R1 was something like 3 days something, then it went to 5 days and 6 days, and to R4 it was 7 days, so it was nearly a month to get up to R4.
Funny.
So with a Foundry, if you've got the inclination to do it and that's what you want to do, I mean, I pick and choose a Foundry what I do anyway. I pick what targets I want to do, what I've got damaged, what I haven't got damaged, etc. throughout the day. So,
I mean, and that's logical. I mean, what does everybody think? Do you think it'd be better to change the system, or is it not? Are people not getting the lag that I'm getting? Because I don't get a huge amount, but since I start scrolling across the sea to go and look for things, it starts slowing down massively.
I think the easiest thing to do is take those ships out of the retro lab completely, and just leave the ships in the Foundry, and let the retro labs be for additions to the ships.
The only problem with that, as a drawback is the amount of holes that you can actually retro means more targets, which we're trying to avoid on the sea.
What they should do is just make the Foundry less fragments than that.
I agree with TSM on one aspect. Have a list that comes down, it comes in that criteria.
Just hit a T4 target, right? That's Foundry level T4. Go and hit the target. It's in the drop-down menu. Right, which Foundry piece do you want? I want this one, this one, this one, or this one.
Yeah, I could go for that.
It's 1/5 of the number of targets, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't even see the damn things.
There's just so much stuff to collect at the same time.
That's where you've got to be selective. What you deem as an advantage to what fleets you've got. You should concentrate on those particular targets. Don't feel like you've got to go out and do them all.
Unless you're one of those players, unfortunately, who's only got the low-level tech and has got all of that low-level tech and wants to make it better. Then he's got to select what he wants to retrofit or what he wants to Foundry, doesn't he? You know.
Yeah, what's holding me back at the moment is all in T5, in Tier 5.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, well, they just want you to coin that stuff at the moment, don't they?
Yeah.
I think the argument from Kickside is going to be that you can't prep for other people. But I mean, if you put it in the campaign and put it as co-op, and if you need to prep uranium, for example, from an Armada for someone, they start the campaign for Armada, and you go in and do it for them. And then that defeats the purpose of having these targets on the water, and you can still prep for people, you can still do what they need, whether it's base parts, uranium, whatever it needs to.
But that would also be a better way then of changing it and actually basing the targets against fleet capacity, fleet level, and not player base level as well. So you know, it may say that's a level 50 fleet, well that should be able to hit that, not the players level 50.
I don't really want everything going in campaign tower because it will mean that nobody can help you.
I'm not a TLC lover. I do them, to be fair, but
I don't agree with TLCs myself. I mean, it's either there to do or it's not there to do.
Yeah, but the problem is now with the one that's supposed to be coming up for the sub stuff.
That'll be expensive.
But it's a must-have hull, and I think it's very unfair.
I don't see it as a must-have hull, mate. Because if anything, just get the CUDA one, and if it's the easiest one to get, at least then you can't be seen on the sea, and you don't need 5 ships. You don't need 5 subs.
I'm not talking about the CUDA, Mark.
No, I'm not. I know what you're talking about. But you don't need the best of those. You don't need to build 5 Hell Wraiths.
But are we assuming this is going to be a sub raid, seeing as though the Retribution was a base hitting fleet? So we had to hit bases to get the Retribution, or?
I assume nothing, mate.
I know, but have we got any inklings? Have we got any?
No, nothing
any
at all.
idea at all? Anybody?
No, I would tell you if I had. I've got
Any
no
idea of
indication.
what the prize is going to be, or what we're going to be hitting?
What we're going to be hitting?
We're going to be hitting Reavers.
It's definitely a sub campaign, is it, in the TLC?
Yeah.
Well, I was under the impression.
I won't put you in a spot, Liam. All right.
I was under the impression that we were going to be hitting Reaver targets.
Yeah,
so
it's not confirmed.
We're talking about the first or the next raid or the TLC that's coming.
TLC.
Well, that's not set in stone. It's just I was just under the impression that that's what we were doing. So don't hold me accountable for that. But
Where do you live?
The detail was TBC. Okay, this is the technical answer, right? The detail was TBC. The TLC was then delayed, and no detail came out.
I've just heard the other day from another show that the TFC is going to be on the 9th of September. But that's not a promise.
No, that's a guess still. It's not.
We don't know.
Well, I heard that they were going to take all of they've cancelled the TLC and they were going to take all those ships and put them in as next raid prizes for 50 million hull. Oh god, I love finding you guys.
You kill me.
You're gonna start something now.
Well, as far as I know, the TLC, they actually put in the forums that it's TFD.
No.
TBD to be something.
What is that?
To be disclosed. That's what it was. Yeah, to be disclosed is what they said. Yeah, or to be continued, or all that sort of stuff. You know. So basically, they didn't have any time. They had a date to start and that sort of stuff, and they didn't know what targets they were going to be hitting, and they weren't sure basically what each level had to be and that sort of stuff. That information was to follow. But the only thing that did happen to say was, at this time, we're going to delay this event. That's it.
Can anyone see Brian? Is it just my screen? But my screen, Brian's screen seems to be frozen.
He's stuck.
He's a flycatcher.
Cheesiest grin I've ever seen, but I can't seem to lock onto it. Oh, he's dropped out, Brian.
He's run away. In the last 3 minutes, he's gone.
That was hilarious.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Come on, Brian.
I'd like to say something, guys.
Before you say something quickly, do you know what you reminded me of when I looked at a frozen picture? Do you remember watching the 40-year-old virgin when he got laid for the first time and you see that big grin on his face?
Do you know? I said about the raid and the things being in the raid, and I looked over at Brian's face and I thought, "Wow, he's fucking happy about that."
But my connection is doing all sorts of stupid things right now. What happened?
Your face, it froze.
I come.
Video because it'll be too small, but it froze on you, and you were kind of doing this cheesy grin with your mouth open, and it just looked like you were.
She's laughing her head off.
That was me. That was me.
You were happy about something.
You'd have to watch the show back later.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. So where were we?
Someone was going to say something about
I can't remember who it was.
I would. It was me. I wanted to say something. If it hadn't been said to you guys, I want to say that I appreciate the.
Oh my god.
Hang on, Brian.
What video, mate? Sorry?
I just done it again!
Stuck.
Go on, sorry. Yeah, I did miss what you were trying to say there.
What video, mate?
It was what I was saying to me.
Well, yeah, it was what I was.
I was trying to say. I want to say from the whole community. I talk to a lot of people, and I appreciate what you guys do. And the Forsaken Council is a great thing for Battle Pirates. From us, the community, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Well, like I said, as I said earlier on when Liam had his microphone issue there, as far as I'm concerned, my bit is to try and decipher, debunk, and that sort of stuff, and put out information so people don't have to waste their time or waste their money. Because I'm sick to death of this being a chore. And if I can cut corners for people and get them straight to the answer that what they need, so all they've got to do is the bit they've got to do, and not try and faff and work it out, then I've done my bit, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, I love BP. I've been in BP for 5 years, and I've had some bad spells, and I've had some good spells, and I generally give a damn. I generally give a shit about the community, and I want the game to be doing well. Like I actually generally care about the game doing well, and that's why the show's here, because I want to try and be a middleman to take what's upsetting you guys and making the game annoying for you, and take that to Kickstarter and say, hey guys, maybe adjust this and do this better, and we can improve the community there. And basically, it's all about trying to make the game better.
But in the same, you've got to do that with a sensible approach, methodically, and have evidence, because they don't listen. If you go and rant, they'll just switch off.
That's exactly. I mean, people. I know certainly in the last couple of weeks, people have criticised, and I don't know. I wouldn't say criticised, but there's been some suggestion towards perhaps me and myself and the TFC being a little bit too friendly towards Kitsai, and that's really not the case. It's just if we go out and blast things and just swear and go mental, Kitsai are just going to turn off. They're not going to listen to that. And what does that benefit you, the game? What can we do for you then if Kitsai don't listen to us? We can do nothing for you. We can bring your concerns nowhere. So we have to approach everything from a different angle as opposed to just saying, screw you, Kix, I'm sick of this, I'm sick of that, oh, you're always trying to do us over. That doesn't work. That doesn't get anywhere. So we have to do
but that's why I'm on here. I say all that stuff.
Exactly. Exactly, Jay. Exactly, mate.
So yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, Watao, and we all appreciate it. Everyone works hard from the ground up. Even the people you don't see work so hard. So
well, Andrew, I mean, we've got our own website.
Our own website,
which he's just had registered with the internet, security tool people, Trent Micro, because they had it blocked because it's a new page. That's been squared away within the week. He does so much work behind the scenes, and hats off to Andrew, because he does stuff that I haven't got a freaking clue how to do, but he makes me look good.
Do you know Andrew was doing artwork for me for 5 years. 5 years he's been a friend of mine and doing artwork for me. And when the first dream of the TFC came about, he was one of the first people I messaged. I said, look, you've got to come on board. He does. The guy's a genius. He's really good at what he does. He should work for Kixeye. He should be making votes and shit.
There's some pretty good builds on there, and then there's Liam's.
Obviously, the builds don't account for expert driving skills.
Like your sub-driving skills.
My sub-driving skills are basically on par of that of, like, Jesus.
But now you've got some good holes built, you can get some practice in now. Is that what you're telling me, or no?
No, I tried them earlier and that was terrible. I thought, oh, now they're ranked.
Walked on water. So you're saying that you're subs.
Sorry.
But Jesus walked on water. So you're saying your subs are constantly surfaced. That's bad.
I do things with subs that you wouldn't even
That'll
think
get you
possible.
killed.
Like, you'll see me control them, and you'll be like, wait a minute, how did he do that? Like, what button did he click there? That's just some David Blaine shit right there, you know? And that's how
They call that lag. You wait for 10 seconds, and you turn away, and the boat disappears. That's
no,
lag.
what I'm trying to say is I hide them in a box for 2 months, you know? You got that? That was good. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've coined them, I've ranked them, but I may not be able to control them, you know? But hey, I can just coin the repairs, so...
I have to say, a couple of my guys were watching your stream, Liam, and they came back to me and went, right, can you do a proper one now, please?
Hey, you fuck off!
Because Liam's driving was terrible.
Hey, that was a preview, I was a test, and I thought, is there a point of me going in here and just showing everyone up with driving skills? No.
Why do you think I put 2 streams up, mate? Yours and mine.
So I thought the whole point, I better go in here, drive them a bit crap, to let everyone know that they're not as bad as they think they are.
We gotta have a what not to do stream, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm basically.
The thing is with that, with Liam's stream, there's a legitimate thing in that, because for so many months, with super thermal and all that, subs were basically useless. So a lot of players, especially ones that are newer to the game, might not be able to drive subs very well, and you do have to take that into account. So there's some good issue to that.
Okay, I'm going to try next time with my hand behind my back, okay?
Well, listen, I represented the non-sub driver, okay? And that's important to Kickstarter, because that's what Brian's saying there. I basically haven't built subs because I didn't like their build times for years. And so I'm basically a new sub driver, and Kickstarter got to see the perspective of that, which I feel was valid for the community.
Clearly.
More though, because he was honest. He was like, you know what? We're going straight in. Sub-cap fields don't exist. We're going all in. He's like, we're here.
Someone commented on the stream, and they're like, wow, look how good those subs are. And I was like, what fucking stream are you watching?
You were doing a monster, mate. You were just going straight in, splat, and that was it. It was funny.
I was trying to figure out how to autopilot them.
Maybe giggle. Anyway, right.
Okay. Stop mocking me, okay? It's not fair. Is there anything else, guys? What else have we? Any other topics we missed, or anything anyone else would like to say?
I'm done.
Okay. Okay. Well, then sorry, go on, Wattel.
I just said it's beer time.
Beer. Well, I've actually just cracked open a cider, which is what we drink from. Okay, guys.
Come on, as soon as I get off this,
yeah.
I've got a few BB3 in my sights.
Well, also, did someone say, and I noticed this early on in the show, and I just wanted to put this out there, did someone say that it is a 36-hour VXP?
Yes.
Because in the forums it said 24 hours, so I assumed it was going to be finished at 5 p.m. my time zone, 9 a.m. Kickside time zone.
Yeah, that's what I had as well.
Probably because they realised that they fucked everybody over on the VXP, so they've extended it.
So they've either read it wrong or extended it for 12 hours and not
I've
told
seen
us
it
yet.
somewhere posted 36 hours, and that was yesterday.
It's not on the forum. I just checked.
Right. So can anyone confirm if they're still spawning?
Have we got the game up?
80s and 100s.
It was 24 hours.
I'm hitting them.
Yeah, Tito said as well. He's on there because obviously he's on the other show as well. He also confirmed that it said 24 hours as well, as did mine, because that's in my slides that myself and Andrew did. Mm-hmm. But clearly they've stayed on longer for some reason.
I have seen it somewhere 36 hours. I can't remember where. But they are
okay.
Okay, well, so guys, basically, they're not over. Get out there and get some VXP if you can.
Monster just said they're still there. He's on the game.
I don't listen to Monster.
He's quit anyway. Shut up, Monster.
Hang on a minute, Monster. Hang on a minute. What kind of black magic voodoo is this?
So it must be a different Monster. There's another one.
He still got his ranch.
It's like, oh, that's my brother.
Okay.
time to go. Come on.
Yeah, let's end the show there. So, guys, fantastic for you all to come out this evening and join us for the show. It's been a good show, and thanks to everyone in the YouTube. We've had a great amount of viewers again tonight, so I appreciate you all coming out to watch the show. Catch us in the TFC page. If anyone wants to comment on J-Boy's post there, because it is something that Kicks will listen to, then get in there and comment.
I think it's gone up another 30 or so already.
Yeah, and definitely vote. I mean, when there's 5,000 people in the page and not even 1,000 have voted on it, so get voting, guys. And let's the more waves we make, the more people will listen.
As soon as it gets to 1,000, Liam already said he'll pay someone 500 gold to be a 1,000th member.
I don't remember that conversation, but maybe I did. I'll take it out of the swear jar. Okay, that's what I do.
They're getting over that already,
Okay, yeah. So great show, guys. Catch us for Tuesday's show. Sneaky suspicion we may have a pretty good update next week, but I don't know. I don't have any idea what's coming. We were meant to have the TLC, and that's not coming, and I can only suggest it was delayed for a reason. So maybe there's a big reason. We don't know. So take care, everyone, and catch you in the page. See you Tuesday. Good night.
Good night, guys.